Hey, good morning, everybody. I'm redoing this because I'm not sure if my live is working today. So I jumped off and I've jumped back on again. So here I am, Carolyne Rodrigues. It is Monday. Look at the date. The date is May the 7th. Oh my goodness, I don't know where the time is going. I just want to say welcome to my magical Monday moments. I don't know about you guys, but I love Mondays. Hey, Maura, how are you? Can you hear me okay? I saw a little wave and a thumbs up, so that's awesome. Thank you. Because I started my live and I didn't see anything, and I thought, uh-oh, am I just here speaking to myself? So thank you for joining. As I mentioned, guys, I'm here every Monday at noon Eastern time, bringing to you some words that, some ideas, some tips that have helped me in my past. I'm not an expert on anything. I'm an expert on living life, enjoying life, experiencing life, and sharing life with you guys. So today, I wanted to talk to you about something that I sort of experienced this week. So I picked up this book to give myself a little refresher about how I can turn things around that were happening that I didn't particularly want. And I think that's really important. I think it's called fine-tuning your moments, fine-tuning your day, fine-tuning your week. So I wanted to chat with you guys about the book, The 4 Agreements. Hey Gail, how are you? Good morning. How many of you have read, if you're listening to this in replay time, I'd love for you to post. Have you read the book, The 4 Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz? Anybody? Yes, I know a lot of you have. I know Maura has, because she's just an incredible reader. I know, same with Gail. Hey, Greg, how are you doing? So this book speaks to me about how I get myself in trouble with my thinking, with my self-limiting beliefs, with my self-limiting thoughts. And if you're somebody who's looking for clarity, peace, and joy in your life, I would encourage you to pick up this book. If you have it, if you've read it, reread it, because it's helped me deal with doubt, the stress that I put myself under, and the worry about stuff that worry is unproductive, right? Worrying about things that 9 times out of 10 never come to pass. And I'm better at that. I don't find myself worrying about things. I just shut my mind off and focus on what I want. But I wanted to share with you guys how these 4 agreements can possibly help you, because I think this is one of the masterful books that you want to have in your library. And so, what are the 4 agreements? Number 1, I'm going to come back to them, but I'm just going to run through them all in case some of you have to run. Number 1, be impeccable with your word. Word is everything. Number 2, don't take things personally. Don't take anything personally. Number 3, don't make assumptions. And you can just use the first 3 letters of that word, assumption, and figure out what I'm going to be talking about. And number 4, to always do your best. So let's break this down. Be impeccable with your word. What does that mean? Hey, Mary Lou, how are you? What does that mean to be impeccable with your word, you guys? Gosh, in the past, before I learned this, my word didn't really mean anything. I would tell you, yes, I'm going to come. Yeah, I'm going to show up for this. Yeah, I'll be there. I'm going to join that. And 9 times out of 10, whatever was the flavor of the moment, or whatever it was that distracted me, I forgot that I gave my word to do something. Or if I gave my word, if something better came along, I'd end up doing that. So, hey, Jacqueline, how are you? And so being impeccable with your word, you guys, speaks to your integrity. Who are you? And what do people know about you in terms of what you say versus what you do, right? I said a lot of things that I didn't mean. And part of being impeccable with your word, you guys, is this little ticker here. And it's being able to refrain from criticism. And a mentor of mine taught me this, the 3 J's: jealousy, justification, and judgment, right? Finding fault with others. And what's that saying about people who live in glass houses shouldn't throw stones. Yeah, I think that's in the Bible somewhere. Hey, Michael, how are you? And so I always have to turn myself around and put myself in the receiving end of whatever it is that I'm putting out there. And it's a work in progress, you guys. And always get it right? And so what does your word mean? Do you show up for what you say? And I'm doing my level to be that person that people can rely on. And part of being able to be that person is I have to stop saying yes to everything before I check my calendar. I have to stop saying yes to everything because I want people to like me. I have to stop saying yes to everything because I think I can just cram everything into my day. And my husband reminds me of this, and he says, you sure do have a lot of stuff on your plate, because who am I complaining to afterwards when my day is too full? I'm complaining to him. So I'm learning now to have less, but to have more quality, right? I don't have to be busy every moment of the day. So my word, I'm learning to be impeccable with my word. Number 2, don't take anything personally. Oh my goodness, I mean everything about me, right? If somebody said something or they did something, it was like, oh, I'm so hurt. I can't believe they said that. And it's not about you, you guys. And this has been mostly my journey this week. Where if you ask somebody to do something, or you've asked somebody for some help, or you're in that place where you feel that you can rely on somebody and they don't show up, and I'd be like taking it personally, like, why do they do that? So why? I start my question with why. So I've changed that to how versus why, right? And so I'm again learning the lesson that my husband taught me. I hate to admit when he's right. Is seat myself in the chair of the person receiving that information. So be the receiver. How do I receive it? Because oftentimes I don't know what's going on in somebody's life. I've asked, maybe they're doing what I'm doing. They say yes, and then they realize they can't fulfill on the yes, right? So I'm learning to bless and release, because anything that steals my joy is anything that I really don't want to go into that energy space, because when it steals my joy, then I put myself into a vibration that's not a match for me. I want to be happy. I want to have that sense of peace. I want to release that stress. So I am doing my best not to take things personally when people turn me down or people aren't there for me. It's like, what I have to ask myself, what's going on in their life that is happening, right? Hey, Sue, how are you? Hope the weather's cleared up where you are. Okay, so what's number 3? Don't make assumptions. What's the first three letters of the word assumptions? Yeah, I'm not going to say it. You guys can spell it out, right? And I've done this a lot. In fact, if you come from an Eastern European family, or if you come from an Asian family, we tend to do this a lot. And it goes back to like, I think 2 and 3 kind of go together, taking things personally and assuming, oh my goodness, I can't believe she did that. I can't believe that blah, 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 blah. Like, why did it, all of that chatter and that story that we create around something that happens, guys, it's just, I don't know about you, but I'm just releasing it, because when I assume, I get into a lot of trouble. And again, I don't know what's going on in your life. Hey, Rudy, how are you? I don't know what's going on in somebody's life. So when I assume, and typically what do we assume? Do we assume the best of people? I think not. We assume, I don't know about you, but we seem to, as human beings, go to the assumption of the worst, right? So, all right, so how do you stay out of trouble? Ask lots of questions. Ask people lots of questions. Figure out, like, whatever it is that's happening, rather than assuming the worst, just ask them questions. So tell me about that. Like, how come this is happening? Or do you really believe that to be true? How do you know? This is where the rumor mill starts off. And a good friend of mine, Zach Slobin, I saw a post that he made when gossip and rumors are part of people's daily lives. And he said, so when people come to him with gossip and rumors, he said, so would you be okay with me sharing what you just said with that person? Right? And so, Cindy has a question. What if people don't follow through on their word time after time? Well, then, Cindy, you have to decide what kind of people you want to hang around with, right? So you can address that with that person. You can let them know what's happening. You can ask them questions. And at some point, you want to decide who are going to be your tribe of people. Because we attract, guys, this was a tough one for me. We attract who we are. So I have to go back and examine how have I been behaving, that's what I'm inviting into my life. And that was a really tough one. It's taking responsibility for what's showing up in my life. And am I that person? Have I been that person? And I know, when I've come into this into this business of network marketing, and now I want something from people, I had to look and see, how have I served people that now, gosh, you know what? They want to participate in what I'm doing. So if I'm somebody that was always going out there because I want to get something from people, I got to look at how have I been in service to somebody that they would want to partner with me. They would want to come along and lock arms with me. And I had to do a lot of work to clean up my act, you guys, because I was that person that I wasn't always in service and community. So that's one of my highest values, is how do I contribute to others before I invite them to contribute or come alongside me, right? So making assumptions gets us in a lot of, I know about you, but it gets me in a lot of trouble. So and again, it's a journey. You're going to fall down. You're going to make some boo-boos, because that's what I do. And I know, as long as I can just say, Carolyne, you just did that again, then I can be better next time, right? So you're welcome, hun. You're welcome, Cindy. And the last one, oh my goodness, there's a lot of latitude here to always do your best. What does that mean, always do your best? Well, I know I'm somebody that in the past would find the shortcut to whatever it is I had to do, right? And I know with my mom's not on today, but it started with like cleaning my room. Well, I just take all the stuff and shove it under the bed so that my room looked nice and tidy. But in fact, all the junk is underneath my bed. And what does that do up here? I know I didn't clean my room, right? And so you can fool other people with the exterior, but the interior, guys, and I talk about this all the time, the icing on the cake looks good. You can dress that up. But inside, for me, was sawdust. Right? I knew that I wasn't always doing my best or giving my best. And when I would take a shortcut, I would get the results of taking the shortcut. So I'll give you some other areas in my life that I had to clean up that would help me, be my best, do my best. And one was, I was just disorganized, right? I never knew where anything was. I was running out the door at the last minute. The other day, actually, I have to apologize to my husband. Oh, I hate when he's right. I was complaining to the ladies at the dental office because I couldn't find my keys to get in the car and drive to the dental office. So I had to call them and say, I can't come. I'm sorry. It's 10 minutes to my appointment. It takes me 10 minutes to get there. And I said, I don't know where my husband put the keys. And I went and looked in the car. And I was like, well, the seating position is in his seating position, and the rear view mirror is in his seating position, and the radio station is on the station that he listens to. So guess what? It's his fault. He drove my car, he took the keys, and he put them somewhere. And I was madder than you know what, right? And when he came back, I said, where did you put the keys? He goes, I put the keys where I always put them. And I'm like, well, they're not there. And he said, well, guess where they are? They're in the garage on a shelf. And I go, well, I didn't put them there. And afterwards I had to eat humble pie because I recognized on my way out to the garage, again, am I organized all the time? No, I do my best to be organized. But on my way out to the car, going through the garage, I had a squirrel moment. And I'm like, oh, there's that stand I need. So I must have put my keys down to free up both hands to grab this stand to bring it down, and then I couldn't find my keys. So that's just an example, you guys, that, you know, being disorganized caused me a lot of stress, and then I blamed somebody else. Not nice, right? So I had to apologize to him. And I have to apologize to ladies in the dental clinic for me going on about my husband in the car and blaming him. So disorganization steals your peace, robs your joy, causes you to be in this state of fluctuation. So now I make a point, put my keys there, so when I go out the door, I know where it is. Some of you, I've heard this, and you know, a couple of members of my family are guilty of this. Clutter, clutter, clutter. Some of you are paper hoarders, right? Clutter everywhere. So I remember my sister saying to me when she saw my office in Fort Myers, she goes, "Where?" She looked around, she goes, "Well, where are all your files?" I go, in my, I got props, hang on, in my little computer. And she goes, "Well, what do you mean?" Because she's a post-it note junkie, post-it notes everywhere. And I asked her one time, "What is your desk made of? Is it wood? Is it glass? What is it?" Because I couldn't see her desk because it was covered with paper. So yeah, Jen, I'm sorry, I'm outing you. And so we had to do an intervention with my sister-in-law and get over there and straighten up her office. And what does that do for you guys when you get rid of the clutter? What happens? Anybody? How does that make you feel? Go ahead and share. Love to know, because some of you keep calling me and asking me about this topic, right? So I know when it makes you feel good, right? It's like, it's all this space all of a sudden opens up, right? And you can see my shelf behind me here. I could probably fill up these shelves with more stuff, but I don't like that feeling. I like the idea of space. Some people call it white space, right? So when I get rid of the clutter, when my office desk is clean, and I do that first thing in the morning, right? I used to call myself a pilot. Some of you know that I was a pilot, yes? Did you guys know I was a pilot? I was a pilot, you guys. I piloted here. I piled it there. Some of my piles are this big. Yeah, it's a little joke. Okay, I know. I should stick to my day job, right? Yeah, Rudy, purging feels great. So I find that when I do it a little bit every day, then I'm not overwhelmed. And I know when I decide to do a deep dive and really clear everything out. Okay, I don't know if this happened to you guys, but when you start with one drawer, do you find you get distracted? It's like, oh my goodness, oh, there are those pictures. And then you start looking at pictures, and before you know it, you spend 15 minutes, you haven't done anything. So I do this 15 minutes of just whatever I can see, clearing it out. The 3 Ds, do it, dump it, or delegate it. Right? And get rid of that. Because what happens is when you clear out the clutter in your home, in your kitchen, in your office, with your relationships, all of a sudden all this space opens up, right? The clutter starts here. When this is all clogged up, it spills out into your environment, you guys. So always doing your best with whatever is the number one thing that's bothering you the most in terms of your clutter is what you want to deal with. So Cindy, this is and thank you for asking. This is an analogy, is an idea that I learned from Jack Canfield in his book, The Power of Focus. And it's the 3 Ds, do it, dump it, or delegate it, right? And I know for some of you guys, you know, your computer, you have like a gazillion emails there that you didn't do anything with. And my good friend, my mentor, the owner of our company, Kathy Coover, whenever I email her, immediately I get an answer back from her, but it could be like one word. Because she taught me that. She said, clear that stuff off your email, because when you're going back and looking through it, you find things that you didn't deal with that you maybe should have, right? So this is all under the category of doing your best. And Cindy, I know what that's like. That's tough, delegating it. But here's what I want you to understand. Do what makes you feel good. I don't like all that technical stuff. I don't like doing we have a weekly newsletter. I don't like doing that stuff. So I delegate it out. I have somebody that helps me with it, right? Computer stuff. I don't really like doing taxes, and I don't really like balancing our bank account. So my husband takes care of that, right? So we divvy up the things that have to get done in the house, right? So delegating is a huge one for me, because as a control freak, I don't know about any of you guys, when you're trying to control everything, again, that you're putting yourself into that little box, right? You're trying to control everything because that's part of, and I'm going to say it for myself, Cindy, part of my ego. Nobody else could do it as good as Carolyne could. And then when I did delegate it, you got to let it go. You can't be, criticizing people, because you let it go to somebody else who's better at doing some of the things that you're not good at doing. Let it go to somebody who loves doing that kind of stuff. Like Casey loves doing that kind of stuff. My husband loves the numbers. I don't. I like talking to people. So do it, dump it, or delegate it. That's my tip, you guys. And so let's go over this. 1, be impeccable with your word. So do a little checklist, mental checklist for yourself this week. Make note of where you may not be quite impeccable with your word. Yeah, and only you can determine that, you guys. So I'm paying attention this week to these 4 things: being impeccable with my word, doing what I say I'm going to do, and saying what I am going to do. Not taking anything personally, right? Because I'm not sitting in somebody else's shoes, and I'm not going to be in judgment of them. Number 3, don't make assumptions, right? If things are happening and they're not working out for me, ask people questions. And number 4, always do your best. So now I've gone a little long this week, but I want to say thanks for tuning in. Thanks for spending your time with me today. And if you're listening to this in replay time, just do #replay. Share any thoughts that have benefited you from spending some of your time with me and listening to the replay. And if you think this message will benefit some people that you know, feel free to share it with them. Put it in your groups. If you're part of a group of women that empower other women and men, feel free to share it, because I think this book, The 4 Agreements, is a wonderful book that we can all learn. Will teach us all to just kind of. And I will see you guys in 2 weeks, because next week I'm heading out to Vancouver Island to celebrate a good friend's 70th birthday and my husband and I 30th anniversary. So I might do some lives on my trip heading out west. And I wish for all of you guys a magical Monday and a magical week. Thanks for tuning in, you guys. Love you all. Bye-bye.